And third, and this is the big one, there are massive federal programs that were instituted in the late 1970s that pay states trillions of dollars to tear families apart. So it's so innocuous when I tell you, be like, this is a great program. But like in Texas, we get 66 cents on the dollar put into the Texas Treasury for every dollar of child support that's paid. Right? So the state is now highly incentivized to issue the maximum amount of child support. That's why almost all divorces got 50-50 prior to the 1980s. And there was this skyrocketing of divorces where one parent loses custody. And that was to maximize Title IV D reimbursements to the states. In Texas, it's $500 million to the Texas budget.
If the state is profiting off of child support?
Correct. And in most states, the Judicial Retirement Fund is funded from this money. So the more child support that's issued from the family courts, the larger the judicial retirement. It's a massive program. It's the size of the largest defense programs. So the incentives are absolutely huge.
To get people to pay child support?
Correct.
And even married people, to get them to break up and then have to pay each other child support?
Absolutely, yeah. So, because you would think the best child support would just be 50-50 custody and let people raise their kids. The best child support is to raise your own kid. That's the best child support. And third...
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Wakakadas. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth 100% securely. I would like to give a salutation to the Akim and Aqua who are listening and studying to show thyself approved. This is Brother Bayon from the Tulsa, Oklahoma, Hebrew Israelite Camp, coming back to you with another quick lesson. And this pretty much, as you just saw in the opening clip, is a quick lesson based on the greed of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Okay? And ultimately, it's pretty much showing who the wicked are, okay? And we're pretty much witnessing what the wicked have been up to in America, aka Babylon the Great. This is what they set up. These are the systems that they set up. And, it's nothing but wickedness, okay? So we can actually start out with the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10, okay? Because it says, for the love of money, all right? For the love of money is the root of all evil. Okay, so what you just got through hearing is that the people that control the judicial system, they love money more than they care about bringing the families together. Okay, so they're profiting off of the separation of the household here in America, aka Babylon the Great, but specifically they profited off of Yasser Allah, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because it was always, Yasser Allah who was mainly on child support. Okay, I can care less about this Edomite on the screen, all right, because he's just now receiving his punishment, and so he pretty much, as the scripture said, they found their own tongue to follow upon themselves. So now the curses that was once on us is coming on them. Okay, so I got an article that I actually wanted to show, which is, further prove that. Okay, but, finish reading this 1 Timothy 6 and 10, it said, for the love of money is the root of all evil. All right, which while some covet it after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. You see that? And so this is why we, this very system that he just spoke about was the reason a lot of Yasser Allah grew up without fathers in their home. It's because the greed of Esau Edom, who basically profited off of breaking up the family. You see that? And that was the root of all evil. And what led into more evil is that those single parent household grew up, they had sons, and they ended up going into the life of crime because they didn't have their fathers in the home. And so they created this crazy system of wicked system, okay? Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, okay? They created this crazy wicked system to the point where not only did they separate the family, made a profit off of it, okay? And then what did those kids do when they grew up without the father? All right, they had this thing called a school to prison pipeline. Okay, so they grew up and then they created a prison system for those very same kids that they destroyed through the child support system. You see, and they also made a profit through the prison system. All right, free labor. Okay, free slave labor through the prison system. See, so it's a whole wicked ass cycle that Esau Edom had created. So that going back to, let's read 1 Timothy 6:10, and then we're gonna go on from another scripture. All right. So it said, for the love of money is the root of all evil. All right. Not only did you have the single parent household, all right, because there was a survey that was said over 80% of all men that's incarcerated came from a single parent home. All right. So what did they do to get incarcerated? They had to live a life of crime in order for them to survive. Okay, with no discipline, no father at home, etc., etc. All right, so 1 Timothy 6:10 again from the top. It said, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." You see, so there was a lot of people that grew up without parents, and they had great sorrow growing up. Okay, and it's all because of Esau Edom greed that they set up. They set up a greed system, and now a lot of people are suffering from it. And so now their own people are suffering from it. But going back to Yasserallah, Micah 2:10, right? We can actually go pull that up real quick, because this is why I say this quite often. This American society have never been created for our benefit. Okay, we was here for our punishment. All right, this is why the laws that created in this American society, America, aka Babylon the Great, have always been stacked against the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Yasser Allah. All right, so this is Micah 2:10. It says, arise ye, and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted." All right. So all the laws that have ever been wrote here in America, aka Babylon the Great, have never been for the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American benefit. Okay. They only benefit Esau Edom, the so-called white man, and the other heathen nation that used to come over here and get free land, etc. And so on and so forth. Okay. So this land has never been for our benefit. Okay. So arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sword of destruction. Okay, so this is why we go out and prophesy that America, aka Babylon the Great, will be destroyed. Okay, Lord willing, it will happen, 2 years from now. All right, because this society is so wicked that it got to be destroyed in order for Yasser Allah to be able to take over and rule the whole world in righteousness. All right, so we can't take over unless Esau Edom kingdom get fall, and this is pretty much America, aka Babylon the Great. This kingdom got to go. Okay, so we can actually go from there. Let's go get the book of Psalm, chapter 64, and the point would pretty much be in verse 8. But I'll go ahead and read up from the top. We can actually read this whole chapter. Okay, so Psalm 64:1. And it says, "Hear my voice, O power, and my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy." All right. And it says, and hide me from the secret counsels of the wicked, and from the insurrections of the workers of iniquity. You see, from the insurrection from the workers of iniquity. All right. Who's the workers of iniquity? The Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Okay. And it says, who wet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows and shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Certainly do they shoot at him and fear not. All right. And so they use this child support, which they pretty much put it in secret. All right. They put it up under the banner and call it child support. Okay. And pretty much destroy the whole family through this very system. And in return, they made profit off of it. Okay. They made money off of it. All right, you heard him in his video what he said. They the judges actually retire out for the fund, out for the every child support that's actually get funded. You know, every child support they get paid, they get retirement money from that. That's where their retirement money come from. Uh, verse 5, okay, Psalm 64:5. He said they encourage themselves in evil matters. They consume of Salaki, they commune of laying snares privately, and they say, who shall see them? All right. And so this probably been a big secret for so many years. All right. And it said verse 6, and it said they searched out iniquity, they accomplished a diligent search, but the inward thought of every one of them in the heart is deep. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow, and suddenly shall they be wounded. All right. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow, and suddenly shall they be wounded. All right. So now they've been putting this wickedness, you know, this especially this child support system and all of these other, you know, plagues and curses that they've been afflicting us with. Now they're coming back on them. Okay. So reading verse 7 again, he said, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow, and suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And it says, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord Yahweh Yahushua, and trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. Okay, when reading back in verse 8, Psalm 64:8, and it says, so shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Okay, so this guy pretty much did a podcast, and he went on a news about his personal situation about the child support system. Okay, since he getting afflicted by the child support system, now he getting his media outlet, and most of these stuff is going viral. Okay, but Yasser Allah, here it is, Yasser Allah, specifically the so-called Negroes, all right, which would become from the tribe of Judah, all right, they've been getting put on child support and being unrighteously been dealing with, you know, child support. There's some men that paying child support for the child that they ain't even theirs, and so on and so forth. And this guy get media covers, all right, because they can't handle the same thing that Yasser Allah has been going through. Okay, so we're gonna go from there. This guy's named Jeff Younger, and I pretty much found the article based on this guy, right? Let me pull it up real quick, right? And it says Texas dad fears ex-wife plan to chemically castrate 9-year-old son. You see that? So now he's dealing with the same curses. Matter of fact, let's get this real quick. The same curses that was on Yasser Allah is falling on these Edomites. All right, so now that he can't deal with the curses, he want to sing like a bird and cast his own society down. When at one point he was benefiting from the same system that was persecuting Yasser Allah. So let's get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, and pretty much the point would be in verse 7, but I'm gonna read up at the top and read down to verse 7. All right, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1. And it says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all nations, whether the Lord Yahweh thy power have driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord Yahweh thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul. And he said that then, the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Lord thy power have scattered thee. If any of thy be driven out unto the outmost part of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord Yahweh thy power will bring thee into the land which thy father possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord Yahweh thy power will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love the Lord Yahweh thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And in verse 7, here go the point. And he said, and the Lord Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemy and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Okay, so here it is. You got this Edomite. And see, he's on Tucker Carlson, and he's basically talking about his situation being under child support. So now the curses is one that was once on Yasser Allah is being lifted up, and it's falling on these Edomites now. Okay, so let's go ahead and read this article. All right, so Texas dad fear ex-wife plan to chemically castrate 9-year-old son. Okay, and that's pretty much going back to the wickedness of this wicked ass society. All right, and it says Texas father at the center of a bitter years long gender transition claim his ex-wife had moved to California planning to chemically castrate their 9-year-old son, James, who identified as a girl named Luna. Jeff Younger, a dad of two who unsuccessfully ran for the Texas State House campaigning on an anti-trans platform, appeared on Tucker Carlson tonight, Thursday, and shared a video that purport to show his son identify himself as a girl. And the recorded 9-year-old James is asked if he is a boy, to which he replied, "No, I'm a girl." The grade schooler says his mother, pediatrician, Dr. Ann Joygula, told him he was a girl, and she also put him in a dress. All right. And he says, my boy ran cold when I realized, he said, my blood ran cold when I realized what she had planned for that boy. Younger told Carson. Okay, so now he dealing with the wickedness. He dealing with Yasser Ali used to deal with, so he can't handle it. So now he pulling all strings he can to show up on all the platform, because of course, because Esau Edom benefiting from this society. Name Yasser Allah, name any Jake that can actually go on Tucker Carlson, okay, all of these platforms, and talk about their child support system. All right, so this is the straight up Edomite, and he can't deal with it. Shows how weak he is, right? But this is a wickedness on a whole different level right here too, because this is like crazy curse right here, right? So it says Younger claimed that his ex-wife had deliberately relocated his son and the boy's twin brother to California just days before the state trans refugees law went into effect on New Year's Day. The law is designed to protect trans children and their families if they're being criminalized in their home state. All right. So Democratic Senator Scott Weiner, who sponsored the bill, tweeted after California Governor Gavin Newsom signed it. Okay, according to Younger, his ex began transitioning James when he was just 2 years old and tried to enroll him in a gender clinic in Dallas at the age of 5. Pediatrician records showed that she intended to chemically castrate him at the age 8 or 9, his current age. Younger alleged, and then he magically moved to California. I don't think this is an accident. All right, so right, you get the point right there. So the curse is falling on Esau Edom, and then you got the wicked Edomite who pretty much going along with this wicked society, man. So it's all the more reason why America, aka Babylon the Great, must be destroyed. Okay. So let's get the book of Obadiah. Because, I mean, just like just pretty much elaborate on that point with that Esau curse, the curse is falling on Esau, man. So, and now they can't handle it. But you know, we just showing what's going on in this article, and then from that video, it just shows that Yashala, we almost out of here, man. We ain't got to be here too much longer. All right, so this is Obadiah, and I'm gonna actually read verse 15 all the way to the end. All right, because it says Obadiah. Verse 15, it said, "For the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is near upon all the heathen." All right, so it's near upon all the heathen. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is showing these heathen that he about to come and take that power from them. All right? Read that again from the top. Obadiah 1 and 15, it said, "For the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee." See that? "As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head." You see? So now we're seeing the wickedness that they put on our people, now their reward is being returned upon their own head. Okay? So, you know, I'm gonna actually put this article in the description box, so anybody else that want to do a lesson on it. All right, cause I just wanted to show the greed and the curse that was coming from Esau, the one what Esau set up, and now that curse is coming on to him. Okay. In verse 16, it said, "For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possession." You see that? "And the house of Jacob shall possess their possession. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau. For the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua has spoken it. And they of the and said, "The day of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain the Philistine, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Galilee. And in the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanite, even unto the Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Shapara, shall possess the cities of the south. And Savior shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah." You see, so that's pretty much the example that I really wanted to just go into, the curses that were pretty much the greed and the curses that pretty much fell on Esau Edom. I might do a part 2 regarding this wicked agenda that's been spreaded upon all the youngins, because they're pushing it off on the kids. But this is pretty much an article of how the curses is pretty much falling on Esau Edom, man. All right, just like they pushed that alphabet agenda on our children coming up. Now that same agenda been pushed on them by their own women. You see, so and it also further proved that they are not fit to rule the earth. Okay, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, so they're destroying the earth. All right, so I didn't want to make this lecture too long, so we're gonna end this off with the book of Sirach, chapter 10, Ecclesiastica, aka Sirach, chapter 10. And we actually read at the top. All right, so Ecclesiastica, aka Sirach, chapter 10, and verse 1, it says, "A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered." All right, the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Okay, so matter of fact, we can get that real quick. Let's get the meaning for prudent. Okay, just for edification purposes, prudent definition. All right,
Prudent.
and it says acting with or showing care and thought for the future. All right, and that's definitely not Esau Edom, the so-called white man, because he created a system based on his greed. Okay, so if he was prudent, he would have had enough care, and he would have created this system to where the children are actually being taken care of. They would have been pushing forward a system to keep both families together. You see that? But instead, they made profit off of the family being separated and pushed apart. Okay, and now the judges and all of these people in the judicial system, they can retire off of those funding. Retired off of the struggles of Yasser Allah. Okay, so that pretty much proved that they're not prudent. All right, so going back to Ecclesiastical, aka Sirach 10 and 1 again, it says that wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself. All right, let that sink in. I'm going to read that again from the top. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. You see that? And it said, what manner of man the ruler of the city is. Okay, the manner of man, the ruler of America, aka Babylon the Great, is wickedness. Okay, so right here, because it said, what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. You see? So this is why we have these rulers, these wicked judges, because the tribe of Amalek, they rule the world in wickedness. So therefore, since they're wicked, the judges and the rulers and so on and so forth, they're going to be wicked. All right. So it's a domino effect coming all the way down. Okay, verse 3. Sirach 10 and 3, it says, an unwise king destroyeth his people. You see that? Verse 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in the authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right? And that unwise king is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He ruled the whole world unwisely. All right? And guess what? Now the people have been destroyed. Look at this. You see this? From the adults all the way to the children being destroyed. You see, little boys turning into, little girls. And they even got the parents participating in that behavior. Women looking like men, all right, getting these hormones, and they actually growing beards. Okay. These women, getting them surgery and getting their breasts taken out. Some of them look actually like men. All right, and then when they want to settle down, they get pregnant. So it actually look confusing because you thinking it's a man, but it's really a woman that just got her breast taken out. All right, that's wickedness. Okay, so reading that verse 3 again from the top, it says, "An unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited." Verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Okay, and who is that one that is profitable? Yahweh Shai, who's going to come back and take Esau Edom out. He's gonna take back his throne. Okay, he's gonna come back and he's gonna rule the world in righteousness. We talking about the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. All right, that's who's gonna come back. All right, so the Lord Yahweh Shai said, in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Verse 5. And he says, in the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribes shall he lay his honor. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor, for every wrong do nothing at all by injurious practice. Pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doers one committed iniquity. Okay, the most proudest man on the earth is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Right, ain't no denying it. All right, so we're gonna end it off with verse 8, and it says, "Because of unrighteous dealing, injuries and riches got by deceit." Okay, those judges, they got rich by deceit under the banner of child support. Okay, they call it child support, and that's deceit because the system never supported the child. Okay. All right, so reading verse 8 again from the top, it said, "Because of unrighteous dealing, injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people into another." As a matter of fact, I said I was going to end it off with this verse, but since it said that, the kingdom is translated from one people to another, and let's get that in 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and 9. All right? For what people is being translated from one people to another, there's Yasser Allah. All right? So 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9, and it says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." All right, so, Lord willing, I hope this lecture was edifying. All right, I'm going to play this video one more time, and then I'm going to close this out.
Hey, what's up, business leaders, organization leaders, those who love their communities and you want to make a difference?
And third, and this is the big one, there are massive federal programs that were instituted in the late 1970s that pay states trillions of dollars to tear families apart. So it's so innocuous when I tell you, be like, this is a great program. But like in Texas, we get 66 cents on the dollar put into the Texas Treasury for every dollar of child support that's paid. Right? So the state is now highly incentivized to issue the maximum amount of child support. That's why almost all divorces got 50-50 prior to the 1980s. And there was this skyrocketing of divorces where one parent loses custody. And that was to maximize Title IV-D reimbursements to the states. In Texas, it's $500 million to the Texas budget.
If the state is profiting off of child support?
Correct. And in most states, the Judicial Retirement Fund is funded from this money. So the more child support that's issued from the family courts, the larger the judicial retirement. It's a massive program. It's the size of the largest defense programs. So the incentives are absolutely huge.
To get people to pay child support?
Correct.
And even married people, to get them to break up and then have to pay each other child support?
Absolutely, yeah. So, because you would think the best child support would just be 50-50 custody and let people raise their kids. The best child support is to raise your own kid. That's the best child support.
All right. So, Lord willing, I hope this lesson was edifying. And with that, we give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth 100% securely. Shalom, DTA, Ababa Kwam Yasharala.